This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by WBO #2 middleweight and, in my opinion, a knockout of the year contender holder, Mr. Denzel Bentley. Denzel, first of all, thank you very much for your time, especially after just missing out and getting you on Saturday night. How is everything?
Yeah, all good there. Uh, yeah, all good, man. All good, man. You know, all the happier for Saturday's result. So I'm all good today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very good. All the better for being joined by yourself, especially after literally just missing out on you by a couple of minutes on Saturday when I tried to get you for an interview. But here we are.
Yeah,
It's only Tuesday, only a couple of days on. We'll start off by obviously talking about the obvious. You were back on Saturday night at York Hall against Derrick Osaze. A tough fight on paper, a fight where not a lot of people knew a lot about Derrick Osaze, but you'd mentioned in the build-up you sparred him. You kind of knew what his good strengths were, and wow, what a knockout from yourself. Just how good was it to win in that fashion on Saturday night?
no, it was good, man. It was incredible. I mean, I ain't had a one punch knockout before, so it was nice to get it. You know, what I'm saying on Saturday. It was a good shot. It was a crazy reaction as well. But like I was saying before, I'm happy Derrick's all right, and he's got a family too. He's got a wife and kids, so I'm happy he gets to go home and like be safe and enjoy his time with them. So. But
Were you surprised at all by landing that one punch knockout?
yeah, I was. I knew he was going to walk onto shots all day, and I knew I could hurt him, but I didn't think I could knock him out. I just thought I'll probably get a stoppage from a beatdown. I've got to keep just beating him down, bruising him up, just make him swell up, and make his corner or the ref feel like he's had enough. That's how I thought I was going to win that fight. Especially like going down the stretch. I didn't expect a knockout like that, especially so early. But I ain't complaining.
And then following on from the fight at the weekend with a big win, what is next for yourself? Where would you like to go next?
But listen, I like to go, wherever I'm meant to be, man. I feel like I'm meant to be, at that world stage now. If it wasn't for that setback last year, I would have been there already. You know what I'm saying? But that's life and that's how it goes. Maybe I wasn't ready then. Um, God had other plans, but listen, we're ready now and I'm on a good roll. So hoping to just move forward, get out one more time this year on a good card, hopefully.
One thing I mentioned to you last week when I interviewed you at the press conference, I said we spoke about the headspace and you mentioning that going into the Heaney fight, you weren't in the right headspace and you kind of, in a way, overlooked Heaney a little bit and just thought you'll be able to get him out of there. But in your last two fights, obviously comeback fights, the fights that you needed to win, you've been in that clear headspace, and we've just seen how dangerous you really are, haven't we?
Yeah, literally, man. And I'm happy I've gotten to show that. I mean, I think before that I've had a lot of knockouts in my career, but I think the last two fights have shown, the real danger that I possess. I think before that it was just like, yeah, he carries power. I hadn't really shown any. I don't know. People didn't really take me as a threatening puncher kind of thing. They just knew that yeah, this guy can fight and he can stop you. But I think the last two fights back to back, I've shown, yeah, you know what, this boy's dangerous.
And after the Heaney fight, obviously, you mentioned that you didn't talk about anything going on in the build-up because you didn't want to, make it look like you were using it as an excuse. But how frustrating was that period? Obviously, you knew you weren't at your best in the Heaney fight, but you weren't allowed, not necessarily you weren't allowed, but you decided not to go out there and say anything. How frustrating was that period between the Heaney fight and the comeback win against Danny Dignam?
It was frustrating still because not because I didn't get to say what was going on, just more so it was like why did it happen? Why did I not just make a different decision at the time and blah 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 or whatever? But it was just like it was just annoying because I know he shouldn't have beat me, but now I've got to live with it, and it is what it is. So I just thought I didn't really want to see no one. I didn't really go to no boxing shows, and I'm always at boxing shows. I just wanted to chill and spend time with my son. But that made me feel better. Spending time with my son, it made me feel better, and then it was just like that loss got rubbed out, and it was just like, you know what? I'd rather you be well and I lose than you be unwell, and I was away because I had a fight and then I won and then I come back and you was unwell. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I was just like, look, you just got to look at life. There's other blessings, there's other things that are going well, but I just felt like nothing was going well at that time. Like some being premature, I'm like, bro, like everything was good, and then premature now he's in intensive care, and it's like, oh, that's not going well. Then I lost my fight, and oh, that's not going well, and it just felt like nothing's going well for me at this point. So that's kind of hard to do sometimes, but you just got to like, pick yourself up and just carry on, doing what you need to do to now provide for a family that I have and continue my career. So when I got the Danny Dignity fight, I was like, yeah, like let's take this. This is gonna get me. So this is gonna get me back to where I need to be essentially. And I took the fight and I performed.
And moving forward, you're not necessarily going to be as careful in choosing your fights, but if you don't feel you're 100%, are you going to be a lot more open to your team about maybe wanting to delay the fight until you're at 100%, either physically or mentally?
Yeah, I think so, but that's hard for me. It's hard, like it's hard for me to kind of say I'm not right. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it's probably just an ego thing, and I need to do better at just because I'll be honest, like I started boxing really late, yeah, and the gym I started at, Fisher, Steve Heiser, may he rest in peace. He's a tough man, and then you got Ray Ball, who's also my trainer. He's my trainer as a pro as well, but he's also like head coach at Fisher now. They're all like tough men, and it's like when you're in the gym and you kind of say, for example, with sparring, it's like, oh, my hand hurts. It's like, oh, he's bottling it, he's scared. It was that kind of vibe, that kind of energy. That obviously it'll be banner, but they kind of tell you, oh, you're not tough. You're like, you're not ready for this. So I've kind of been built to kind of suck it up and get on with it. You know what I'm trying to say? Just be tough, maybe too tough for my own good. And I need to do better at. And I think I'm like that naturally anyway, just in life, outside of boxing. I don't really talk about things or problems and stuff. I just suck it up and go. But in boxing, coming from that side as well, was like, yeah, just forget it. Unless I'm dead, I'm fighting or I'm in the gym. So it's benefited me, but it's also gone against me as well. So I think I need to do better at communicating with my team and letting them know how I feel about certain things instead of just being that, just get on with it then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Do you feel that I was just steering a little bit away from the boxing talk, but I'll steer us back to it in a minute. But I feel like there's an important message here. Just in life in general, there's a big stigma around men and not opening up about the way they feel. Do you feel, obviously, not just in the boxing sense, but in life in general, you mentioned it yourself, just the way you are in life, you don't really tend to talk about your problems and suck it up. Do you feel more men in the world need to start opening up a little bit more and communicating with the way they really feel instead of just bottling up their feelings?
Yeah, 100%, man. Because like once you get it off your chest, it makes you feel better. If not, you're just carrying it. You're carrying that burden. I mean, like recently, like I got two friends, um, like I'm really close with. Like there's times where it's like we're in a group chat. So one of us might just message like, "Oh, boys, therapy, man," and we'd all just link up at one of our houses and just like chop it up. What's going on? Oh, like what you saying? Oh, and whoever it is going through, oh, would you not think of this? Like, I feel like this ain't going well, like this ain't doing this, or I feel like this is bad, or this is how I'm feeling. And then we'll just be like, yeah, throw out some suggestions, or just be like, yeah, no, look, that's just life, whatever. And then it just ends up being banter. And then for the rest of the night, we're just laughing and you just feel better, like the weight's lifted off your shoulder. You've already complained about it, you've spoke to your people about it, and now we're just having fun and we're bantering, and it's another side of a conversation. And yeah, we're going home now, boys. And you go home and you just feel better. It's a weight lifted off your shoulder. So I think if you got close friends, you feel like you can share things with. You got a good friendship group, share it with them. You know what I'm saying? You just share your problems with them. No one's gonna they shouldn't judge you if they're close friends, and you should be able to say what's on your chest and leave that place feeling better about yourself because of the time you've just spent with a few loved ones or the feedback they're giving you on your issue. So every now and then that's what me and my boys do. So it's just three of us just message the group chat like, oh, bro, therapy, man. And we just meet up and it is what it is. Order some food, chop it up, and leave there feeling better.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people watching this will take that away and think next time they need to talk to people, message the people they're closest to, the people you can trust the most. So I'm sure everyone out there appreciates that from you, Denzel. Steering away back to the boxing talk, because that's what we are mainly here for. I'm going to rattle through a few names domestically and a few of the fights. I want to get your thoughts on some of them. We'll start off, I guess you could say, with the biggest one. But recent boxer signing, I'm sure you've really been asked about him a lot recently, but Chris Eubank Jr. What are your thoughts on Chris Eubank Jr.?
I think if Eubanks Jr. could do Misfits boxing without being criticised, he'd do it. That's just the path he's on right now. He's not chasing glory. He's not chasing titles. He's just chasing money. And I can appreciate that. He feels like he's done what he needs to do in his career. He's achieved what, if he feels that what he's achieved is enough, listen, go do your thing, bro. I'm a Eubank Jr. fan, by the way. But we're in the same division, and I'd love to fight him. I'd love to share the ring with him. I think that it would be an honor to share the ring with him. But I don't think that will happen anytime soon because of the journey, he's decided to take. He was mandatory for Yanabek, didn't, take that fight, or that fight didn't materialize for whatever reason. Yeah, had other world title opportunities in the past. He had an opportunity to fight Charlo when he went to America and fought Matt Karabov. That was meant to be, a build up to him fighting Charlo. He fought on his undercard. That fight didn't happen. I know he's had a few world title shots, but at the weight above, super middleweight, at the WBS tournament when he fought George Groves, cool, whatever. But I just don't think right now his mind is set on being the best in the division and being a champion. He is getting on. He's getting older, and he probably just wants the last couple big fights to make some money and retire on. I mean, I know I keep saying Conor Benn's name, and it's not personal. I'm a big Conor Benn fan. I've met him, and he's a nice guy. But Eubank keeps calling out Conor Benn, which I get the history behind it, but he's a welterweight. I get Conor Benn chasing him. He's a middleweight. He wants to prove himself against the bigger guy. I get that. But him calling out the welterweight, saying I want to fight him when there's world-class middleweights he can make good money off, it just shows his intentions, you know what I mean? And obviously Conor Benn's going through a situation, and I hope he goes through it and he gets to fight in the UK again because, he's from here. We don't want to keep seeing him fight abroad. We want to see him fight here in the UK. But ultimately, the situation needs to be resolved. But Eubank's just on a different journey, so he's not someone I'm calling out or chasing anymore. I want people that really want to fight.
Is it concerning when you look at Eubank Jr.? You say that he wants these money fights, but all the money fights out there seem to be the people with world titles, and anyone who doesn't hold a world title that's a big money fight is kind of locked in with a fight date. So what type of opponent do you expect to Eubank Jr. in there with next?
I don't know. There was talks of him fighting Canelo, and I don't know where that went. That went tits up because you're talking about 2 warm-up fights. So I don't know why anyone would need 2 warm-up fights if you're a guy that keeps yourself in shape and you're always in the gym. I mean, 1's enough. Two is kind of crazy. Like they're just trying to get 2 big paydays for no reason, basically, and that's just showing you, where he's at. Two warm-up fights is mental. But look, whatever he decides to do is what he decides to do. I don't know who he wants to fight. He just said, I think the Billy Joe Saunders rematch might be a good fight for him. And obviously, like he said, he wants that Conor Benn fight. And it's even funny because first he was brushing it off. He kept saying, "No, I'm not fighting him no more," stuff like that. But I think he realized his position, and every other fight is dangerous. So he wants to go for what he feels like is the easiest option, and that's Conor Benn.
So is there no interest on your end in chasing a fight with Eubank Jr.?
No, not anymore, man. I'll just be talking for no reason. You know what I'm trying to say, and I don't really like talking for no reason. That I don't like using people's names to build myself. I think that's kind of weird. I know a lot of fighters do it, but I think it's kind of weird. I mean, unless it's realistic, I don't really want to talk about it.
Fair enough. Moving forward, and a name that you've been linked with for a while now, Hamzah Sheeraz, he takes on Tyler Denny on the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois bill. How do you see that fight playing out?
It's a good fight, man. But names like that are realistic. We can get that cracking because that's someone that says they want to be, number one and world champion and all these sorts of things. So those are fights that can happen. Or the winner, anyway, the winner of 2 of them. But I think Hamzah wins that fight. Tyler Denny's done well in his career to get where he is and even get this opportunity, man. He's in a massive card. He's come from the dirt. He's come from nowhere. Like he lost to Linus, and it was like he wasn't meant to beat. He wasn't picked or meant to beat Linus anyway. But it was a good fight. So Linus beat him, and it probably even seemed further away. His goals seemed further away than ever. Like at that time, you know what I'm trying to say. But he just kept grinding, and that's what I'm saying. That's the thing about consistency. He stayed consistent. He went out and then he fought. Can't remember. He might have fought Derrick Osaze after that. Beat Derrick, then went on and beat River Wilson and beat Brad Pauls and beat whoever else he needed to beat. And he done that all as the away fighter. Done it all as the challenger, all as from the away corner. and he's come back and made it to the big stage. So man, congrats to him. But I just think Hamza's comfortable at this level, very disciplined, and he's someone that also stays consistent. So it's going to be a tough ask for Tyler Denny.
For Hamzah Sheeraz, would you say this fight is almost a bit of a step back in opposition, especially off the back of the Yamo Williams fight?
I don't know. That's obviously what he wanted to do. That's who he wanted to fight. I mean, that's it. That's who he's obviously picked. He looked at names and picked Tyler Denny when he had the option to fight anyone. Um, but so wherever step it is his. It was his choice. It's not like someone has picked Tyler Denny for him and he's just doing as he says. Or I think that's who he decided to go for. And he's got the European title, so why not add that to your collection? Come off the European champion. Yeah.
Does fighting the winner of this fight, how much does that interest you?
A lot, because they're both at a high level. Tyler Denny has the European title and Hamza's ranked #1 with the WBO. And if Tyler Denny beats him, I'm sure he'll be ranked quite high at the WBO, and he still has the European title. So, yeah, the winner of that fight definitely excites me. Those are all realistic matchups.
And then a name that you've already shared the ring with, Janibek. How badly would you like the rematch with him if that gets offered to you?
Bad, man, bad. I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd love it. I love it. I think up till now, I mean, past opponents and present opponents, I've still pushed him the hardest, and I think I can push him even more now with that little bit of extra experience and, you know, improvements I've made on myself.
What are you able to take away from the first fight with Janibek that would give you more confidence heading into a rematch with him?
That I could push him back. He felt my power. I was a lot more, physical than him. But he's smart, man. He's very smart. So I just have to try and outsmart him, which is a tough ask, but I feel like I can do it. And with my physicality and the pressure I put on him the last time, I can do that with more intensity. So I think it'll be a good fight for me next time around.
And just moving and looking at the heavyweight division, Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois is the next big card we'll see. You used to train with Daniel Dubois, if I'm correct, at the Peacock Gym. What was it like watching him train and being around him daily?
He had real power, man. I saw him ice people in spot, like proper ice people in sparring, like bad. So I know his power is real. His power is really real, and he used to depend on it a lot. But I think now he's worked on different things. Like his work rate is a lot higher. What I think in these last two fights, he's been able to dig deep and show a lot of heart when everyone thought he was a quitter. So yeah, man, I think it's a dangerous fight for both guys.
And what have you made of the improvements in, I guess you could say, his mentality and confidence over the years, especially with all the labels that were getting thrown around his name after his defeats to Usyk and Joyce?
Yeah, that's it. Like you said, his improvement, the biggest improvement is his confidence and his willingness to dig deep. Where before it was like when it got hard, it looked like he'd just be like, "Oh, my days, forget this." Whereas now he's digging deep and he's like, "No, I'm gonna go through the fire and get the results I want." So I've got to give him credit for that.
What do you think's been the biggest difference that's helped him find that confidence and mentality to dig deep?
Probably the people around him. Don Charles is a good trainer and he's a good person as well. So he probably sees Don Charles like another father figure. Probably reminds him of his dad, and he can look to him and be like, "I trust you." Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure how he felt with his other trainers. So Daniel's not someone that talks much or opens up much, but Don Charles is such a good person and he's so caring. I feel like they can have that sort of relationship. And obviously, his dad's around a lot anyway. So, yeah, I think it's just the people around him.
And how does he have to approach the fight with Anthony Joshua in order to defeat him?
He just can't be reckless, which I feel like he will be, which is why I think AJ wins. But he can't afford to be reckless because that could be dangerous for him.
And what makes you think that Anthony Joshua beats Daniel Dubois?
The improvements he's made on the Ben Davison, they're evident, man. You can see it, man. He's a lot more relaxed. He sorted out all these issues he had mentally. Sort of the news going around of him talking about he gone on a retreat to work on his mental health. So he's come back and he's focused. He's mentally ready, mentally stable. and him and Ben Davison have just gelled well. So you could just see the improvements. He doesn't have to take his time. He doesn't panic. Doesn't rush his shots. He doesn't even need to throw too much shots. He just throws the right shots now. And when they land, they hurt, man. So
And then in December, we'll see the rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. What do you think happens when these two meet in the ring again?
I think Usyk probably wins again. I mean, once Usyk has got your number, he's got your number. I think once he realizes what he can do with you, he's going to do it. But Fury's such a quality fighter, such a quality operator. I mean, he has the ability to change his style. I mean, with in the three Wilder fights, we saw three different versions of Fury. You know what I mean? So he has the ability to change his style. It's just how focused he is, and how if he can stay focused on the job at hand. And that's the only difference he has to make, because he looks very unfocused that first fight, just worried about the crowd and trying to showboat and trying his best to make the fight look easy instead of actually fighting.
What do both men need to change in order to have a more conclusive result this time?
I think if anything, Fury needs to change. Usyk can do the exact same thing and come out on top, which he probably won't. He probably will do something different, but the majority of the stuff he'll do will be similar to what he done the first time. Just keep pressing, and when the time comes. Fury needs to, like I said, I think his main thing was concentration. Kept looking at the ring, making funny gestures, and just not being focused on the man in front of him. I think he just needs to focus on the man in front of him.
And while there's a lot of talk of what's going to be next for both Fury and Anthony Joshua, regardless of their results, do you feel if Fury loses to Oleksandr Usyk in a rematch, that could be the final time we see him in the ring?
Maybe, but someone made a good point. If AJ beats Dubois and Fury loses, he could fight Joshua and get the chance to become a three-time heavyweight champion of the world. So there's more carrots to dangle in front of him to make him, not want to retire. But yeah, he could do. I can see him if there was nowhere else to go, nothing to do. But there's still a big fight anti Joshua, and if he holds a version of a world title, I see that fight, more than likely to happen.
Do you feel the hype between a fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? Do you feel if Fury is to lose against Usyk again, the hype wouldn't be as big as what it once was?
Nah, everyone knows how great Usyk is, what an incredible fighter he is. So I don't think so. I think the fight between AJ and Fury is a proper domestic world class clash, and people would still want to see that regardless.
And do you feel we're closer than ever to seeing it at this stage?
Yeah, especially with Turkey Alashake pulling all the strings, we're definitely closer than ever.
Well, Denzel, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time today. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank
Congratulations
you,
once
man.
again on Saturday night, and
Thank
hopefully we
you.
see a big step forward for yourself soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.